For a country like Ethiopia that is 85% agrarian economy based, there are a lot of things that could make things go wrong, especially weather, climate. There are so many things that could, affect the yield or the annual crop production. With that, small-scale farmers are the ones that will carry the burden and be affected the most. Because, large-scale farmers may have the means to, sustain that shock and still be productive. Today, I'm sitting down with Caroline. You're the director of AECF. You will introduce your organization and what you're doing in the agricultural sector to protect these small-scale farmers from, different kind of negative impacts. So please introduce yourself first.
Thank you very much. My name is Caroline Toroitich.
Okay.
Just to make it correct, I'm the Associate Director, Energy Portfolio at the AECF.
Okay.
So AECF is an Pan-African organization. It was established in 2008 as a program to support African enterprises in terms of to work together with governments to be able to address Africa's problems.
Okay.
So since 2017, it is now a registered organization based in Nairobi, working across sub-Saharan Africa, currently active in 26 countries, supporting enterprises. So our work is mainly to provide capital, concessional capital to enterprises in agriculture, agribusiness, as well as in renewable energy, with the ultimate objective of really reaching that marginalized rural women, youth in Africa. With services or products that are able to then address their current issues, whether it is quality seeds, quality inputs, farm inputs, renewable energy technologies to be able to lift them out of poverty.
Oh, that's great. So this is the second version, or like you said, it's a 2.0 program. I understand you had the first one. When was it and how did it turn out?
Okay, so the first one, we call it React 1.0, it was mainly to introduce, we launched it in 2020, where through the competition process, which is a model that AECF uses, we selected 10 companies, renewable energy companies. At that point, we wanted to stimulate the market. That is the point where pay-as-you-go type of business model has been established in other countries. We wanted to support companies here to introduce that to test the market, whether that pay-go technology works for solar home system, for productive use, mainly solar water pumps, as well as clean cooking. So for the rural. So companies were selected based on their innovation. Innovation, since that the main challenges that we understand that are in the rural area would be low affordability by households, low awareness. So the selection was based on which company is better placed to reach those marginalized communities, either by taking more risk in terms of extending their payments, working with MFIs, bringing in technologies that are suitable for those areas. So we've been working with those companies since then, and out of the 10 companies, they were able to reach more than 59,000 households. They also created employment. People who are doing the supply, people who are doing sales, people who are doing technical work. And
there's a huge job creation, a long chain.
Along the chain.
That's great.
As well as they also put in their money. So AECF works through a matching fund model where if you put $1, we were putting $2, the company was putting $1. So that then they also show their skin in the game, not just working with grants. And we supported them to grow as well. We want them to grow beyond the grant to be able to access that debt or equity. So that is what we do.
That's a great concept because, when it comes to aid and grants, it's like a disease, I believe. Once you're so comfortable just getting grants and aid, you'll be comfortable enough not to innovate, not to push your limits, so that to be more productive, which is something that you're always going to be dependent on the grant and the donor.
Yes.
Which is, I like the idea of a 2-to-1 ratio, where you're going to be putting the 2x of the whatever amount that they're putting.
And now we've even gone further with the 2.0. So the 2.0 is going further even in terms of technology.
Okay.
Initially, we were working with solar home system, even lanterns in some cases, to just introduce the technology. But now we know that for you to really make change at the household needs to generate income. So in 2.0, we are going to productive use, more on productive use technologies. We want to support households, agribusinesses in the rural areas that are able to create employment and also to create value for the farmers so that they are drying their produce, reduce post-harvest losses, So technologies like cooling, drying, milling, for cooperatives as well, for micro entrepreneurs in the rural area. So it is going another step further. And for the companies, even this time, we want them to bring more.
Yeah.
In the 1.0, we wanted them to bring 50%, but now we want them to bring, it is one-to-one matching.
One-to-one matching, yes.
Yes, because they've now built the muscle. We believe that
they have the liquidity, they have the strength.
Yes.
So like I was reading your brochure that you have within your hand, and I saw like the grant goes from a $250,000 to a $400,000 grant. And then there's a CapEx where you will provide different kind of asset acquisition, access.
Yes.
What is the ratio of those two windows, if you can explain?
So at the moment, because the CapEx one is a new facility, so we've provided 30%, but then it will be determined by the applicants. So if we see that there is a huge demand for the CapEx, then we'll adjust accordingly. We are flexible. And for the CapEx window, we are providing a subsidy to the end user.
Okay.
So the subsidy is 40%, and that reduces the cost of the products, also to try to push adoption. And then the 60% that will be remaining, then they will pay on a pay as you use.
Yeah, it's like more of a lease financing model where you can be paying as an increment.
The 60%, because then we'll have already paid the 40%.
That's great.
Yes.
So doing all of this, you've been operating for like the past 5 years. I'll get back to COVID because you told me you started at 2020. First, how was COVID?
Yes, COVID caused a disruption, of course, in terms of even within the country and outside in terms of supply chain.
I get it.
And so for us as a program, we were very flexible, so that we increased the program duration. We also provided additional, usually we have a limit of 30%.
Yeah.
So to cover for the change in the macro environment, then we were able to even provide more flexible milestones. So that then if you reach a certain level, you need money, we don't have to wait for you until you reach what we had agreed. If it is 5,000 sales, even if you reach 2,500, we can still unlock for you for liquidity purposes. So we are very flexible.
Flexible on that.
Yes.
So apart from COVID, I mean, with different regions, with different countries come different challenges. What were the challenges you faced in Ethiopia while you're implementing or executing this program?
So we had the big challenge that happened, of course, apart from COVID, was the Forex issue.
I can imagine.
Where then investees were losing, when we provide the grants, they were losing up to 8% of the Forex.
I get it.
And so we worked with the stakeholders, with the Development Bank of Ethiopia, with Zaman Bank to find a solution.
Yeah.
And also to, as you know, that time, because of the Forex issues, then there was queuing. And so governments prioritized other basic items, fertilizer, medicine, and so renewable energy was not part of the priority. So we agreed with them, and that once we then provide the grants, then they're able then to provide the full amount for them to bring the products from wherever they bring them.
That's great. I saw another point where you're like, this program aligns with our electrification programs, our resilient economy and the green economy. There are so many, macro policies that are being put in place within the government. Do you have any partnerships with different government institutions that are handling it, be it the Prime Minister office or like even the different kinds of ministers?
Yes. So initially we were working closely with the Ministry of Energy and Irrigation that time. Right now we want to strengthen the relationship with the Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Development Bank of Ethiopia, the Ministry of Agriculture, and also with the association, the Renewable Energy Association, to be able to then sit and agree on what solution is needed that is acceptable both for government and also will work for the private sector. So we'll be having a lot of stakeholder engagement to be able to address barriers on both sides.
And I hope we will see the fruit of this and there will be a React 3.0, Caroline.
We are praying. We are all praying because we still have, the problem is still huge. And we still need to mobilize additional resources, even the underserved. The unelectrified population is still huge. I know Ethiopia has a target to electrify, have universal access. We know that there's a place for off-grid, so we'll continue supporting Ethiopia.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for your time.